Hi, I'm Ben Bailey, the chef of the Grove and Baduzzi restaurants in Auckland. This is my Thermomix, and I've been using Thermomix for the last 12 years in my kitchens, and I love them. My spices are milled, my chocolate is perfectly melted, and my purees are silky smooth. Today we're going to do some beautiful slow-cooked lamb shoulder with Gremolata and creamy turnip and vanilla puree. We're going to do something a little bit outside of the box by slow cooking the lamb shoulder by steaming it in the varoma. First up, we're going to make a beautiful dressing with raw garlic, lemon zest, parsley and olive oil. I call it Gremolata. So this recipe, it's so simple. What I'm going to do, I'm going to blend garlic, lemon zest, parsley, olive oil together, and that's going to make our Gremolata. So parsley in first, followed by a good pinch of salt and pepper, lemon zest, and the garlic. And we're going to add 80 to 100 mils of olive oil. Now we're going to blitz at speed 9 for 30 seconds. All right, now we're going to scrape the Gremolata down. It's nice and fine and smooth. And this is perfect to glaze our lamb shoulder with. Okay, now I'm going to prep my beautiful lamb shoulder. I'm going to tie the lamb so it cooks evenly. Okay, so now it's very important that we cut our lamb into even pieces. In this case, our 800 grams of lamb is going to be in 3 pieces. Right, we're going to season our lamb with salt and pepper. Now we're going to pop it in the varoma tray, ready for steaming. Now I'm going to set the Thermomix up for steaming. I'm going to add 1 litre of water into the bowl, but I haven't washed the bowl since I've made the Gremolata. This is going to impart some beautiful flavours into the stock. So, to weigh off, press the scales, and you simply pour 1 litre. Next, we're going to place our varoma with the lamb into position on the Thermomix. Lid on. We're going to put the time for 75 minutes. We're going to set the temperature for the varoma. And then the speed on 1. Steaming is an unusual but great way to cook lamb shoulder. It's going to lock in the moisture. Once it's cooked, we're going to pop it in the oven at 200 degrees to get it nice and crispy. One of the great things about Thermomix is the multi-layered cooking. You can have the meat, the vegetables, and the broth all cooking at once to save you time. All right, so we're done. The lamb is steamed for 75 minutes. Looks great. So I'm going to bring the lamb out carefully, pop it on my board, and I'm going to pop the spinach in for 3 to 4 minutes until the spinach is nice and wilted. Lid back on, Okay, so now we have our lamb. It's been steamed, it's very nice and soft, but it's lacking that caramelization on the outside. So we're just going to give it 15 minutes in the oven at 200 degrees. To jazz up this recipe, we're seasoning the lamb with cumin and coriander seed. Now the lamb's going to go into the oven at 200 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay, so the spinach has had 3 to 4 minutes and it's just cooked. Now I'm going to put it in the thermo server, which is going to keep the spinach warm while I make the puree. Okay, now we're going to make a turnip and vanilla puree. If you don't have turnips or you don't like turnips, use cauliflower. Very simple recipe. Turnips, we're going to blitz them carefully in the Thermomix, add a bit of salt, some milk, some cream, and finish with vanilla. So, first of all, turnips into the Thermomix. We're going to blitz the turnips on speed 8 for 5 seconds so they cook quickly. All right, now we're going to scrape down the outside of the bowl and add the cream, the milk, the salt, and the vanilla. About a teaspoon of salt to 400 grams of turnips. The cream we're going to add in. Then the milk. Now, very important, we're going to scrape out the seeds of the vanilla, pop them in, and we're going to use the vanilla pod for a special garnish later on. Now, lid back on. So we're going to cook the turnip puree for 20 minutes at 100 degrees on speed 2. Now that the turnips have finished cooking, I'm going to make them into a beautiful smooth puree by blending on speed 10 for 1 minute. All right, the puree looks wonderful, hot, and silky smooth. Going to transfer it into a bowl. All right, let's see how our lamb's doing. So here we go. The lamb is beautiful, roasted and caramelized, but we've started it in a steamer. You wouldn't have thought it would look this good. Now to finish the dish, we've got our puree, which we're going to spoon in the middle of the plate. Okay, now we're going to put the spinach on the plate. We'll need a little bit of salt. Next, the lamb. I'm going to add a little bit of Gremolata now. Then I'm going to slice it. A little bit more Gremolata. So to finish the dish, I have my beautiful little vanilla pod, which I've sliced and then baked with the lamb to get it nice and crispy. So there you have it. This is my slow-cooked lamb shoulder with gremolata, turnip and vanilla puree. For my recipe plus thousands more, go to recipecommunity.com.au. Thanks for watching.